Yeah.
Welcome to the Rhinebeck Scoop. I'm your host, Jennifer C., and I'm dishing out social commentary about our beloved town. If you like this show, please give it 5 stars on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Also tell a friend. Rhinebeck, this is your radio show, so please give me topics you would like me to discuss, DM me, email me, or leave me a voicemail. And if you'd like to be anonymous, I understand. It's a small town. I won't say your name unless you specify. Today we are discussing my anxiety over a future article, listener feedback, and my take on the Le Petit Bistro post. Yes, people, I'm doing it. You're going to hear what I have to say about it. First, we're going to start with a little bougie chat that Matty got involved a little bit on this. So, okay, I did an interview for a local media outlet, and it's supposedly coming out in June if they don't cut me, which they may cut me. So we'll see what happens. I did this interview and I thought it was just going to be a 5-minute thing. Like I thought it was going to be like, here's a question. Why do you do the Rhinebeck Scoop? What do you get out of it? Blah, 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 blah. This journalist was fucking good. He was just, it was a long interview. He was asking me questions left and right. I was not prepared. And something that I don't remember sometimes is, yes, this is a small town, but a lot of these people, they come from such an experienced background, right? So they've graduated from Columbia School of Journalism. They worked as a stringer for the New York Times a little bit. And so I was a little like, oh, wow, this guy's like a journalist. Okay. So I wasn't prepared for that. And I have to say, he pulled everything out of me. His next question was, what is your deepest, darkest secret? I would have told him. He was that good. He's a really nice guy too. He's a really good guy. Then the interview ended and I was like, oh, okay, that went well. But then I had 48 hours where I just started to panic because I said, shit, I'm not sure I said the right things. And I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about the Radio Free Rhinecliff brand, right? I want to make sure I'm representing you guys really well because you have just done so much for this community. So I don't want your brand to get fucked in one article like I've done it. I've taken down the whole brand. So for example, the journalist said to me, what are your upcoming episodes? And I don't do episodes that way. I can't tell you what episode I'm doing in July or what I'm doing in August. All I can tell you is October because I know I'm going to do something Halloween, but that's it. So when he said that, I said, oh, I think we're going to talk about porn because I didn't know what to say. So like there's things like that where I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said shit like that. And so I'm afraid that it might be a little bit of a hit piece. And I just don't want to taint Matty and Jen's brand. So I called Matty for reassurance. And Matty, what did you say?
I said, don't worry. That's what I said. I ended up talking to the reporter as well.
Did you?
Yes. So, you know, we had a good conversation. I think it'll be an interesting article.
I think it will be too. So now that I've had time to digest all this, I was thinking, you know what? That would be kind of cool if they did a hit piece on me because this media outlet doesn't do hit pieces. So I'm like, if I'm the first one, hey, why not? That's good publicity. It's all good publicity. So this is coming out in June, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we shall see what happens.
I can't wait.
I'm excited.
So we're moving on to listener feedback today, and I have some emails here. And one is from, I'm not going to say anyone's name because you did not tell me to say your names. So this one is from a woman in Rhinebeck, and she's saying that you and Allison, she meant Allison Chawla, should go to Charleston, South Carolina and go see the old city jail. It's equal parts creepy and riveting. Plus Charleston has sharks. That's pretty funny. Does anyone know the natural phenomenon about Charleston that may happen? So when I went on a tour in Charleston 20 years ago, they are like California where the big one could hit at any time.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And they had a terrible earthquake in 1886. So you guys can look that up. Continuing with the letter. Also, I'm a millennial and worked 2 jobs in college and multiple when I moved to New York City. You just have to pay your dues and work hard, and then you don't have to work 100 jobs anymore. My assistant is 22 and wants to live in the most expensive part of the city without a roommate. When I moved here, I had 3 roommates and worked 3 jobs before I got hired at a hospital. Then I still worked multiple jobs. Suck it up, Buttercup. Now, this is interesting because I had 3 people comment to me in person that they did not like what Jen and Matty had to say about that topic. In fact, one listener turned off the episode and everyone agreed with me.
Your audience likes you. That's a good thing.
That's very diplomatic. I mean, it's possible that some people don't have children who responded to, but look, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Free speech. This is what makes life interesting. You don't want everybody to quote you, Jen, suck your dick. So I think this is good.
Yeah, I prefer people not to do that. But I agree with you. I'm glad. And that's why I'm so glad I'm blessed to have you as co-host, because we weren't friends or anything before this. We didn't know each other. I came here, I pitched to Matty. I had met you quickly with Allison Chala's podcast. You weren't there that day. And so we really don't know each other outside this. So it's nice that we're so different.
I agree.
I like that.
It would be phenomenally boring if we just said, yes, I agree to everything that you said.
And sucked each other's dicks. Yeah. Nope, we're not doing that. Okay, so the next one. Okay, now this listener, I love you. I love you for listening to this radio show, but I cannot disagree with you more. Okay, here is the letter. So I was taking someone to the Rhinecliff station on Thursday at 12:30, and all the way along Route 308 through Rhinebeck, a Volvo SUV was on my tail, which for some reason bugs me. I shouldn't feel judged, but I do. At the maintenance shed, I checked to make sure I was at 45 miles per hour, but we were chatting and I perhaps slowed down maybe. After the bend, a quarter mile from the station, they passed me. I glanced down and I'm going 38. Then they turn into the station parking lot 4 seconds before me. Not sure the takeaway, but perhaps bougie Volvo folks need to chill. I cannot disagree with you anymore because you were going 38 in a 45. And I keep telling people about this, that we all need to drive the speed limit. And I understand why the guy passed you before going in to the parking lot, because I can't imagine if you're going 38 in a 45, how long it would take you to find parking and then parallel park or pull into a space. So I'm sorry, man, but I am in complete agreement with the Volvo driver. So yeah, Matty, Jen?
I don't drive, so I don't really have a place to say this, but I could see both sides of this story.
Wait a minute, you don't drive?
At all?
Do you have a license?
No.
How the fuck do you get around here?
I have other ways.
What the fuck does that mean?
A bicycle and friends.
Okay, so if
Community.
I wanted to invite you out to my farm,
You'd
how
have to
would you get
invite
there?
Jen too.
Wait a minute, hold on. This is a whole nother level we're about to get to. So are you afraid to drive?
No, I would give up my New York City-ness if I got a driver's license.
I don't even know what to say right now. I'm speechless. So
What can I say?
hold on. So you moved up to the village of Rhinebeck
The
and
Hammoud of Rhinecliff.
Rhinecliff, and
I still
you
live in the
said,
city.
no, yes, I know that. But when you're here, you said, okay, I'm going to purchase a home here, but I'm not going to learn how to drive.
100%.
But why?
There's so many reasons not to drive. I don't like killing animals. I don't like driving over animals, I should say. Environmentally, I like to avoid cars. I'm happy to hitch a ride, but, it's not something I need.
Matty, you are unique. And I don't know what to say about that. But you know what? Part of me likes that because I have a feeling you'd be a really shitty driver. And I'm glad you're off our roads.
100% agree. I would be a shitty driver. I'm a good bicycle rider, though.
Okay. See, I'm not opposite. I'm terrible on a bicycle. So, okay. I respect that. We are going to move on to a new segment of Boujee Banter called Boujee Bombs.
Okay.
You guys like this? Okay. The first one is, I'm going to make some people mad about this one. But what can I say? This is from the Nextdoor app. I bought dark chocolate covered coffee beans at Adams. Last night, I found glass in them. One large chunk that I thought was just a hard bean, but turned out to be glass. The other, more sand-like, I swallowed. I brought it to Adams today. She filed a report, and it's been taken off shelves just so everyone knows. Why are you laughing?
That's it.
Adams, you want feedback, you're gonna get it.
So just so everyone knows, I want everyone, and I'd cover it if it was tops or whatever too, but I'm just saying, be careful those coffee beans. Okay, number 2, this one makes me so excited. RBK tells Central Hudson to fuck off. I was so happy to hear about this letter. Central Hudson wants to increase our electricity bill by 31% come July 2024, even though the electricity rates have dropped in April 2024, according to the Daily Freeman. That is bullshit. I cannot deal with Central Hudson, and I invite the CEO, can't remember his name, but I really do invite you on this radio show so we can talk, because I don't know what people are thinking, because the CEO took over a year ago and nothing has been rectified with all these bills. And now you're charging us 31% more. So come on, let's talk about it. All right. Number 3 is the big topic of the moment, and I'm going to cover it. Let's see what happens after I cover it. Maybe good, maybe bad. Okay, so everyone knows about the Le Petit Bistro post. I thought about how to discuss this for a week or so, and I decided that it's too big of a topic not to cover. I will not be discussing the politics or taking sides. I am not Jewish, and I am not Palestinian. So I'm going to focus on Joseph Dalu's intent instead. And I'm going to give you a brief, condensed summary from the Hudson Valley pilot. So in case anyone doesn't know what's going on here. Joseph Dalu, Rhinebeck resident and chef and owner of Le Petit Bistro on East Market Street, reposted a profanity-laden Instagram post on his own Instagram account from author Raja Farah, expressing deep hostility and frustration with Israel, the Arab League, the Israeli Prime Minister, and Zionists in general, as well as various media outlets like the BBC and the New York Times. Dalu says, I don't want to be complacent. Someone has to stand up. This is what Dalu, a Palestinian American, told the pilot this week when asked why he was prompted to repost such a strongly worded post. If people don't want to come to my restaurant because of my beliefs, it frees up a seat for humanity. I don't care if it costs me customers. Dalu said that many locals have commended him for speaking out and that he has the unwavering support of his staff at his restaurant. Dalu, along with many others who have expressed opposition to this conflict and the military activities of the Israeli government, have been accused of anti-Semitism. I am not anti-Semitic, Dalu insisted. It is not a question that deserves to be answered. Okay, so first off, I have never met Dalu. I've only ordered chicken wings once for my husband during the pandemic from Le Petit Bistro, and he never asked for them again. So I never got them again. Le Petit Bistro is a restaurant that opens at 5 p.m. and I'm in bed by 6 p.m. So I'm not going into the village. I love some of our restaurants, but they only open for dinner and I'm more of a lunch breakfast person. So that's why I don't go to Le Petit Bistro a lot. So focusing on Dalu's intent, let's start with the account from which he posted. He reposted from a man named Raja Farah, who is a self-proclaimed Beirut-based queer activist and writer. He has a popular Instagram called Oh My Happiness and has written a book based on the Lebanese Revolution and Beirut blasts. That signals that Dalu's words weren't original, which is fine. But of all the posts he could have chosen, especially from Raja Farah, that didn't have an F-bomb every other word, he chose this one. Why did he choose this one? Out of all of them he could have chosen, out of any post that he could have written himself, why this one? Thus, to me, it was Dalu's intent was obviously attention seeking. And this reminds me of a famous rapper who has captured the media with his extra behavior. He says things like he wants to have a threesome with Michelle Obama and some other things we won't mention. And the media has to cover him like I'm covering him now. So in the end, Dalu won. Whether you like the repost or vehemently oppose it, he won by garnering our attention. The Hudson Valley Pilot, the Daily Catch, and the Daily Freeman have all reported on it. So he got what he wanted. But did he really get what he wanted? Was his repost worth it to cause division in a small town? Is it worth it to have two groups on either side of the street protesting for their cause? Is that good? Some people would say yes. Others would say no. From an astrological point of view, moving farther into the age of Aquarius, which means the dismantling of systems and many things getting uprooted, is Dalu's repost par for the course? And was this simply supposed to happen to propel us forward as a community or not? Matty, Jen?
I'm not sure that there was the kind of thoughtfulness that you attribute to his intentions in terms of wanting attention. One reason I think that might be off is that he posted this to a private Instagram account of where only people supposedly that were people that knew him could see it. That doesn't change that he posted it to the internet. And if you post anything anywhere, unless it's a direct message to your friend, you have to assume it's going to come out. But I don't think that it was attention that he was seeking. I'm not going to attribute what he was thinking. I think that he's clearly angry at all of the entities you named. That doesn't justify the hurt that he may have caused. I think about the environmental term, think globally, act locally, and we shouldn't be surprised that locally we have people that represent both views on what's taking place in the Middle East. I think for his own sake, he could have expressed his views in a way that would have been less offensive to a lot of people and still would have made the same points he wanted to make. So I think it was a mistake to do that. I'm not going to attribute anything to him in terms of whether he's an anti-Semite or not. I don't know him at all. It's fair for some people to read that and think that he is, but it's also fair for some people to think that and think that he isn't. It's obviously a complicated issue. There's incredible passion on both sides of this. We have passionate discussions in this very radio station. Obviously, something broke him to put that up. That's not to say he should have. I'm just saying that I don't, it doesn't have a history of posting these things. It happened at a time with passions where they are. Mm-hmm. And then we had the two opposing sides in Rhinebeck, which was in general a peaceful demonstration on both sides. I think, when I saw the video, there were obviously things said that people will take offense to, but it's very hard to have a protest where someone isn't going to take offense to some of the things said. And that's not to say that they're not offensive, just that that's the very nature of protests. You can't get everyone's voice on the same page.
I've been thinking about this since it came to everyone's attention. I just feel like it broke my ecosystem. My heart does go to Joe Dalu and his family. Some of the repercussions have been heinous and inappropriate. I don't know why anybody would respond that way, but the way that he responded, I understand why, and his passion. It did feel hurtful because it could have been put in a context where both sides could be acknowledged, and he could have also encouraged people to contact their elected officials, and it just could have been done in a different way. So for me, I've been here for 23 years. I'm very civic minded. I love this community. And just for me, I feel hurt and broken and sad.
Well put, both of you. And I agree. Thank you for saying that about the restaurant, and that shouldn't have been defaced the way it was. And I agree. And we obviously wish everyone peace and happiness here, right? From the Rhinebeck Scoop. Here's my last thing that doesn't quite fit for me. And I said, do I want to mention this on this radio show or don't I? And I'm going to mention it because something doesn't sit right. And I'll tell you what doesn't sit right. On Radio Free Rhinecliffe's radio show, Correct Me If I'm Norm, Joseph Dalu came on. I believe it was from November 2021, that episode, and Norm redropped it. So you guys all go listen to that radio show. Norm does a great job. Norm is great at the long form interview. He's good at extracting a lot of really good information from his interviewees. However, I listened to Joseph Dalu's, and as Norm did a fantastic job, Dalu wasn't very exciting in his answers. He has a Mennonite/Palestinian background, which is so fascinating. The most fascinating thing he said in that interview was that I think his mom used to pickle beets. That was it. There wasn't much going on. And it's, again, Norm did a great job extracting what he could. But why it's such a disconnect for me is I don't understand how you have a guy who's 5 minutes into this interview who's like, hey, Norm, can I swear? Is that okay? And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, you're putting up a post where you're swearing your brains out and possibly not thinking about the consequences and causing a rift in this town that I don't think he thought about when he put up that post. Maybe it was his intention, maybe it wasn't. I wasn't getting the connection between these two people from 2021. It seemed like a different person with this repost in 2024. I was very confused. And the thing too is when you listen to that episode of Norms, Dalu speaks very well. He may not be the most exciting person, but he speaks very well. He can hold a conversation. And I don't understand why he can find his words no problem in 2021, speak really well, and then we're moved to 2024, and I understand everything's heightened, but how are you so thoughtful with your words? And then in 2024, it just all goes into something else. So I was just confused about that because I don't know him. So maybe someone has an explanation, but I just don't know him. I found it very strange.
I just think he had a different audience in mind for both of those things. And doing Norm's show, he was expecting it to go to everybody. And I assume, based on the fact that he has a private Instagram account, that he, for some reason, thought that he could post to it and it would only go to his 200 friends. And this is not making up excuses or anything. I think that might explain his difference.
With all due respect to all that, and I agree with you, Matty, you should know on Instagram these days, anyone can take a screenshot and repost everything.
I do things in tech and 100% agree. There's no question. If you put anything on the internet in any kind of message form where more than one person that you're sending it to is seeing it, then you have to assume that it can be everywhere.
So the last thing I want to say is to Joseph Dalu, I mean, I hope that you feel that you've made the right decision. I hope that you feel that you can go to sleep at night and this is the right decision for you. And if it is, then that's great. That's what your intention was. And God bless. For everyone else in this town, this has been a tough few weeks. We need to work through it with conversation. So if that can be created, if through this radio show that can be created some way, then great. So let's just start having peaceful conversations. All right, my sweet of the moment. The Omega Institute opens this weekend. I can do all my hippy dippy shit that I love. And I love making fun of all the hippy dippies there. And I'm the biggest hippy dippy of all of them. But really excited about that. The cafe is going to be open, the library, everything. So I'm very excited. My sour of the moment is the weird spongy worms. You know, those things that are coming out. I think they're giving me bites and rashes.
Is this what RFK Jr. has in his head?
Do you mean the little black caterpillars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're little black caterpillars.
They're giving me, I think,
I'm getting bites
and rashes.
Same.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm looking at I'm like, wow, this is all up and down my arm, Matty.
I'm just saying, don't let it in your brain.
Yeah, definitely. I don't need any more shit. I'm already fucked up. It is. Leave feedback on anything I've said today. Agree with me. Should I say this one? Tell me I'm wrong. Whatever you want. Call and leave a voicemail at 845-307-7446 or email me at comments@radiofreerhinecliff.org. Follow me on Instagram at Free Spirit Podcast. This radio show is produced by me, Jennifer C., Matty Rosenberg, and Jen Hammoud at Radio Free Rhinecliff. Until next time, happy Armed Forces Day on May 18th. Thank you to all our vets and current military for your service. You are true heroes, and everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend. The next show will drop on Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, with a special guest named Eric Steinman, who just mansplains everything to me. And he is the executive editor of the Hudson Valley Pilot. See you in 2 weeks. Love you, RBK.
Yeah.